Okay, so I wanted to try something a little different or not. Um, just wanted to shoot a video. I'm here. It's the middle of the night. Well, it's actually it's 4 in the morning now, but I've been writing all night and listening to commentaries. And I just listened to a commentary for a movie I really like. And then I realized that the movie is pretty underrated. So then I was like, looked through my collection and grabbed four other movies that I thought were maybe underrated and decided to do my top five favorite underrated movies. Movies that I think are underrated. So here's number five. Hopefully this comes up properly. Reign of Fire with Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale, two actors who were pretty big at the time, but they're even bigger now. They're huge now. They both won Oscars. And this is a movie about dragons. And I don't know, I just think dragons are cool and they should make more movies about them. Like big Hollywood movies maybe. But I mean they were on Game of Thrones and whatnot, but this, came out in 2002, so Christian Bale wasn't a household name yet. Matthew McConaughey kind of was. Then they both went on to have amazing careers, and they still are having an amazing career right now. But this is just a really cool movie with dragons, and the special effects are still really good. I think they hold it pretty well, and it's a really fun movie, and I don't know why more people talk about it. I think it's a blast. So that's my number five. And my number four is another sci-fi movie. This one, Pitch Black, which is, still the best Vin Diesel movie ever, as far as I'm concerned, mainly because he doesn't really have to act, because he's not really the best actor ever. And all he does now is just Fast and the Furious movies. But this is a really cool sci-fi movie as well. And I think it's underrated. I don't know. Maybe it's a bigger deal than I realized, but I just don't think it gets enough love. And, it even sparked a follow-up sequel that I didn't care for at all. I think there's another one too. I don't know, maybe there's a third one too? I don't know, but I just remember watching some sequel and not liking it, and this is just a way better movie. It's like borderline B movie sci-fi, but I love that stuff. And, some of the effects are still pretty good. Some are looking a little whatever, but, I just love the idea of these creatures that only come out at night and are basically blind. They can just move around by sound. It's just a really cool movie. Has some really cool shots in it and some good acting. And, it's not really a huge star-studded cast. Vin Diesel is the biggest name in this, but he wasn't exactly the hugest actor in the world at the time either. This came out in like 99, 2000, I think. But this is a really cool movie and I like it. Another sci-fi movie, another Christian Bale movie. This movie is Equilibrium. And I love this movie a lot. It has some really cool fighting in it. And it's super low budget, but still, like, the budget just barely holds together to the point where it doesn't look really, really low budget, even though sometimes you can't see it. But it's Christian Bale who always gives his all no matter what kind of movie he's in. And we all know now that he's like one of the best actors in the world. And he's won several Oscars. I think this came out in the same year as Reign of Fire, 2002. But it didn't really get a big release in theaters. And I just discovered it online and loved it immediately. And I would watch it all the time. And, it came out a couple years after The Matrix. And people would compare it to that. But I don't think that's a fair comparison because they're completely different movies. And The Matrix has a way bigger budget. But this movie is really underrated. And it's a great sci-fi movie that not enough people talk about. But unfortunately, the director's follow-up movie was so awful. I don't even know if he still has a career. His next movie was Ultraviolet with Mila Jovovich, and it was just an awful piece of crap. But I should look up to see if he's still working or not. because that movie was so bad, it could have ended his career. But this movie is so awesome. So that's it for the sci-fi ones. So here we have The Place Beyond the Pines. This is an excellent movie that took me completely by surprise. The trailer is very misleading because when you watch it, they don't tell you what happens to Ryan Gosling. And I'm going to spoil it for you. If you haven't seen it, I don't care. He dies pretty early on, even though he's like front and center. But that comes out of nowhere, but then the movie just keeps going and getting cooler, and it just goes into a place that you did not expect at all, which is totally what it wanted to do. It just completely goes in a whole other direction and takes you on this crazy ride that you weren't expecting at all. And it's awesome for that. And everybody in it is awesome. Bradley Cooper has pretty much been one of the most consistently good actors for years now. Eva Mendes is always great. Plus, there's a whole other slew of actors in this that aren't even on the cover that are in the movie almost as much as these people are. So that's what's cool about it. So that's my number 2 most underrated film. And then here is my number 1 underrated film. We Own the Night. Directed and written by James Gray. This movie is so freaking awesome. It's like a Godfather type tale for the contemporary times. Although this came out in 2007. It took place in 1988. But it has an amazing cast. It's got Joaquin Phoenix and one of the best acting by him I've ever seen, Mark Wahlberg, who's pretty much good in everything, and then Robert Duvall, who's always awesome, and then Eva Mendes again. It's weird how these movies I'm picking have actor connection to them that I didn't plan out at all. It's just how it is. But this is such an underrated movie that I don't know. Like, I think it could be a classic if enough people paid attention to it, like an underground cult classic. I don't know. I wouldn't even call it a culty classic movie. It's just such a, simple cops and robbers, good guys and bad guys story. But it also has like mythical style to it and Shakespearean connections and whatnot. It's just an amazing film and with amazing actors, and Joaquin is so good in this. This was a movie that I saw where I was like, Joaquin is a gifted actor. And this was after he got nominated for Walk the Line, and he was amazing in that. But then when I saw him in this, I'm like, he is one of the best actors working today, and he still is. So that's my top 5 most underrated movies. If you haven't seen any of these, I recommend finding them somewhere, Netflix or whatever, a bargain bin at a Best Buy, I don't know. But these are some excellent movies that you should check out, and that's it. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. It's now 8.5 minutes, so that's long enough time for you to watch this video, I think. Anything longer than that, I don't know. So here you go. That's it. My number 1 underrated film, We Own the Night. Peace.